My name is Clara, and I'm 42 years old. I work at a small bakery in town, and I live alone now. I wasn't always alone. I used to share this house with my husband, Daniel. We were married for 17 years before he passed away. He got sick 3 years ago. At first, we thought it was something small. He kept saying he was fine, but I could tell something was wrong. We went to the doctor, and they said it was cancer. I remember sitting in that office, feeling like the floor had been pulled away. I took care of him at home for as long as I could. I woke him up for his medicine, helped him walk to the bathroom, and pretended not to cry when he was too weak to eat. He always said he didn't want to be a burden, but I never saw him that way. The night he died, I was sitting next to him, holding his hand. He couldn't talk much by then, but he looked at me and smiled a little. I think he was trying to tell me it was okay to let go. I didn't sleep at all after they took him. I just sat in the living room until the sun came up. After the funeral, people called me for a while. Then they stopped. I don't blame them. Everyone has their own life. But the house felt different, too quiet. Sometimes I would make coffee and forget he wasn't there to drink his. I still have his jacket hanging by the door. I don't wear it, but I touch the sleeve sometimes when I walk past. It still smells a little like his cologne. After he died, money became a problem too. I had stopped working for a while to take care of him, so I had to start over. That's when I took the job at the bakery. It's not a big place, but the owner is kind. She didn't ask too many questions when I told her I just needed something to do. I go there early in the morning. I make coffee, arrange the bread, and greet customers. Most of them don't know anything about me. They smile, pay, and leave. Sometimes one of them says I look tired, and I just tell them I didn't sleep well. That part is usually true. Nights are the worst. I don't like turning off the lights because the darkness makes the house feel even emptier. I leave the TV on, even if I'm not watching it. The noise helps. My sister calls me every Sunday. She invites me to stay with her for a few days, but I always say no. This house still feels like where I belong, even if it hurts. I'm not ready to pack up his things or move away. I don't know when I will be. Some days are better than others. I go for walks in the evening. There's a park a few blocks away. I sit on the same bench every time. I watch kids play and people walk their dogs. It reminds me that life goes on even when you feel stuck. A few weeks ago, I found an old voicemail from him on my phone. I didn't know it was still there. I listened to it 3 times before I could stop shaking. It was just him reminding me to pick up milk on the way home, but his voice sounded healthy and normal. I saved it and backed it up so I won't lose it again. I don't talk to many people about him anymore. Most don't know what to say, and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. But I still talk to him sometimes, when I'm alone. Not out loud, just in my head. I tell him about my day like I used to when he was here. Last month, I started cleaning the attic. I hadn't been up there since before he got sick. There were boxes of our old things, photos, blankets, dishes we never used. I found a box of letters he wrote to me when we were dating. I didn't even remember keeping them. I read a few and had to stop because my hands wouldn't stop shaking.
There was also a bag of his clothes I packed years ago, thinking we might donate them. I never did. I took out one of his sweaters and just held it for a long time. I don't know if I'll ever be able to give those things away. Sometimes people tell me I should try to move on. I don't think they understand what that actually means. I get up, I go to work, I pay my bills, I survive each day. That is moving on. It just doesn't look the way they expect. I don't cry as much as I used to. In the beginning, I cried every day. Now it happens when something small catches me off guard. A song in a store, a smell, a man wearing the same kind of jacket he used to wear. it hits before I can prepare. There's a neighbor, Mrs. Ramirez, who lives across the street. She's older and sometimes brings me food. She lost her husband 10 years ago. She doesn't try to cheer me up. She just sits with me for a while and talks about normal things. I think that helps more than she knows. I've thought about getting a pet, maybe a cat, just something alive in the house besides me. I haven't decided yet. I don't want to make the wrong choice and regret it. I still wear my wedding ring. I know some people think I should take it off by now, but I'm not ready. I don't know when I will be, and I'm not rushing myself. Everyone heals at their own speed. A few days ago, I had a dream about him. It wasn't one of the sad ones. We were just sitting on the porch drinking tea, like we used to on Sundays. He didn't say anything, but he looked healthy and calm. When I woke up, I didn't cry. I just lay there for a while, thinking maybe that was his way of visiting. I've been trying to cook again. For a long time, I only ate whatever was easy: toast, soup, leftovers from work. Now I make small meals, even if it's just for me. It feels strange setting one plate instead of two, but I'm getting used to it a little. On his birthday this year, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to ignore the day, but I couldn't celebrate it the way we used to. I ended up buying his favorite cake from the store and eating a slice at the kitchen table. It felt silly at first, but then it didn't. It felt right in its own way. My mother still worries about me. She thinks I don't say enough, that keeping things inside will make me sick. She might be right, but talking doesn't come easy. I tell her I'm okay because it's easier than explaining the parts I'm not. Sometimes I wonder what my life would look like if he were still here. I try not to stay in that thought too long. It doesn't change anything, and it hurts more than it helps. I don't know what the future looks like for me yet. People ask if I'll ever date again, and I honestly don't know. Right now, I'm just trying to learn how to live with the quiet.
A few weeks ago, I went to the cemetery for the first time in months. I don't go often because it makes everything feel fresh again, like it only happened yesterday. But that morning, I woke up and felt like I needed to be there. I brought a small bunch of white flowers and sat on the grass beside the stone. I didn't talk out loud. I just sat there and let the wind do the talking for me. A part of me still expects to feel him near when I go there, but cemeteries are quiet in a way that doesn't always give comfort. After a while, I just whispered, "I'm still here," and then I left. That night, I cleaned the kitchen the way he used to like it. I wiped the counter twice, even though it was already clean. I lined up the jars and folded the towels neatly. It sounds small, but I felt closer to him doing that than I did at the cemetery. Some memories are starting to feel warm again instead of sharp. I can think about our first apartment without crying. I can remember his laugh without my chest tightening. It doesn't mean I'm over anything. It just means the pain isn't the only thing still living here. Last Sunday, I finally moved his shoes from the hallway closet. I didn't throw them out. I just put them in a box and placed it gently under the bed. I told myself I wasn't erasing him, I was making space to breathe. That was the first time I felt like maybe healing isn't about forgetting at all. It's about carrying love without letting the weight break you. I don't know what comes next for me, and maybe that's okay. I've stopped trying to rush myself into being better. Some mornings I still wake up reaching for someone who isn't there.
Other mornings, I just get up, make coffee, and start the day without falling apart. Both count as progress. I'm not the same woman I was when he was alive, but I'm not lost anymore either. I'm learning how to live with the empty chair, the quiet rooms, the memories that visit when they want to. I still miss him every day, but missing someone is just another way of loving them after they're gone. And if you're listening to this right now and you've lost someone too, I want you to know something. Grief doesn't make you weak. It just means your heart remembers, and hearts that remember are still alive. Thank you for staying with me through my story. If you want to hear more real, emotional journeys like this one, make sure you subscribe and stay close. There are many stories still waiting to be told.